Damn, okay, I guess I'm talking about Sonic again. Anyways, welcome to RETROspective, the series where I dive into games I played as a kid and see how they stack up today. Sonic 3D Blast. Yeah, that one. You know, the one Sonic game that you'll see on any given Sega compilation and you'll just go, that exists. It's not a game that makes me grin ear to ear whenever I play it, or give me some sort of twisted, weird, sadistic pleasure, but it's one that I can play and just kind of zone out with. I can vibe with it. And I know this makes it sound kind of boring, and I guess in a sense it is, but like, not in a bad way. Before we go on, I'm going to be segmenting this video into 5 parts. The Genesis game, the Saturn game, the PC port, and 2 ROM hacks I feel can really spice up your gameplay experience. So, on that note, let's dive into it. And by dive into it, I mean dive into a sponsor plug. See, today's video is made possible in part by ExpressVPN. I even have my own custom link and everything from them. I feel so official. In an age where most of us are on the internet in some form, whether it be for gaming, conducting business, or in my case trying to make a business out of gaming, it's important you keep your privacy and security in mind. Your eyes peek and see what type of stuff you look at and download, and hackers on public Wi-Fi networks can potentially steal and wreak havoc with your personal info. Thanks to ExpressVPN, you can keep yourself safe online and make your device appear to be anywhere else in the world, all with the click of a button. It's that easy. So, if you want to watch Stone Ocean on Netflix, it's not your native country's Netflix, here's your chance. It can cost you less than $7 a month and comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. With lightning-fast speeds and server locations in 94 different countries, there's a reason they're a leader in their field. Go to expressvpn.com/stuffweplay today, find out how you can get started with ExpressVPN, and also potentially get 3 months free. Look at that, that's a good deal. And now, speaking of the internet, let's head back to an era where AOL was the #1 site online, you could get Sega Genesis games piped into your console via cable, and where Sega decided to publish a Sonic game that was billed as being the first ever 3D Sonic game, though it wasn't really 3D at all, was it? Known in non-America and Canada parts of the world as Sonic 3D Flicky's Island, this is an isometric platform where Sonic has to rescue these Flicky birds. Look familiar? Well, maybe you played the arcade game Flicky. Yeah, that's where these little guys come from. And obviously if you did play it, you didn't play it for very long. No one did. It wasn't very good. Anyway, Sonic 3D Blast here was developed by Traveler's Tales, which used to be headed by a one John Burton. Maybe you've seen him around YouTube on the Game Hut channel. He makes really good content, and remember that name for later in this video. In this game, stages are usually divided into a few sections, each with Flickies stored inside Dr. Robotnik's robots. So smash those bots, save those birds, and maybe collect the Chaos Emeralds along the way. You play as Sonic, and only Sonic here. Tails and Knuckles are present, but only as ways to get to special stages. Come up to one of them to pause your rings, and if that totals 50 or more, you can go to a special stage and try your hand at getting a Chaos Emerald. Special stages also look really nice, even if they're easy as hell. That said, this entire game has kind of this pseudo 3D look. It's kind of like a somehow more cartoony Donkey Kong Country. I really vibe with it. It runs smoothly too. Oh, and this soundtrack? That soundtrack has some of the best dang music on the Sega Genesis. You've been hearing it in the background here, and goodness, Jun Snow really outdid himself here. There's even a power-up that gives you the homing attack, and its first ever Sonic appearance. And damn, I wish this wasn't a power-up, it's so dang useful. What the hell, Traveler's Tales? If you're just looking at it now, this game probably looks like a really fun pseudo 3D Sonic title. Which, I mean, makes the title seem a little misleading as it's not fully 3D, it's an isometric platformer. I guess Sonic and Flickies, but from a weird perspective, didn't have the same ring to it as Sonic 3D Blast, did it? So, why do so many people hate this one? Well, first off, with a regular Sega Genesis controller, it feels jank as hell. That D-pad was clearly not meant for movement in more than 8 directions. Your drop shadow is all sorts of wonky, which makes platforming a little problematic. And then, sometimes when you try to jump on platforms, you just slide on through them. So this makes platforming go from problematic to piss poor. Doesn't help that Sonic's iconic spin dash move is basically useless here. Like, you do not want to go blazing fast here. You'll just run into stuff. If you see an enemy you need to dispatch, then you better just jump into them and not bother trying to roll into them. There's also a lot of smaller issues too. As I said, special stages are easy as hell. What's the point here? You can also go through multiple of them in each zone too, meaning you can get all 7 of the mystical Chaos Emeralds by the time you reach Spring Stadium, which is the 3rd zone of the game. And no Super Sonic! I wanted this bright yellow bastard so badly, and all I got was this weird egg-shaped suppository. Again, it's not all bad. There's this fully 3D intro in the beginning, which is really impressive for a 16-bit game from 1996. And there is fun to be had, even if it's fun that's sometimes accompanied by a good bit of jank, which is more than I can say for its 8-bit counterpart, Sonic Blast for the Game Gear and Master System. But if you want the most fun you can get out of this one, find a way to play it on a PC and map the D-pad movement to an analog stick. It really is the most comfortable way to play it. It makes me wish there was just a way to play it officially with an analog stick in its original form. On that kind of stilted sounding segue, yeah, can you tell I'm scripting this one after not scripting stuff in a while? Let's talk about Sonic 3D Blast for the Sega Saturn. So, did you ever play with the original Xbox back in the day? Remember the Duke controller? The really big-ass original pad that a lot of people hated, that feels oddly nice in my big meat clobber hands? This is its grandfather, the Sega Saturn analog controller. I really love the one that I own IRL, but it's been a month in the mover still haven't arrived with my stuff, and I really miss covering hardware on this channel. Anyways, this thing has an analog stick on it, and, like the rest of it, it's huge. And it works great with the Saturn version of Sonic 3D Blast. But wait, why is there a Sega Saturn version of a game released mere weeks after the Genesis version? Well, this was rushed to market so Sega could have a Sonic game out in time for Christmas on the Sega Saturn that year, because their flagship Sonic game, Sonic X-treme, had a development process so terrible that 2 people nearly died and so got cancelled. That's a hell of a story. I did a 72-minute long documentary about it. If you're from the Anti-Work subreddit, you'll probably get a kick out of that. But the long and the short of it for this video is that Sonic 3D Blast on Saturn was literally made in the span of a few months, features updated graphics, fully 3D special stages, a new soundtrack by Richard Jacques, the Sonic R guy, and of course, load times. In most ways, it seems like this should be the way to play Sonic 3D Blast. The special stages, along with looking visually gorgeous for their time, have a really solid difficulty curve and are, well, for lack of a better term, a blast to play through. I also really like how Tails and Knuckles fly you into each of them. That's a nice touch. And that new OST is blissful, even if none of the music actually loops seamlessly, but I guess it's more of a mid-90s problem than a Sonic 3D Blast on Saturn problem. My favorite tracks here are Rusty Ruin Zone, Act 1, and the boss theme, especially the boss theme. Robotnik cackling at me in the background? Mwah, pure evil bliss. I paid literally $10 for my copy about 10 years ago, and that's unfortunately not something you can do nowadays. It's gone up in price. In fact, most Sega Saturn stuff has really skyrocketed in price the past few years. Google Sonic inflation to learn more. Unfortunately as well, in this version of Sonic 3D Blast, most of the platforming issues persist as well. Look, you can add all of the analog support and graphical pizzazz that you want. If you need Sonic to jump, you better cross your fingers and pray a bit first. But overall, there's fun to be had here, and arguably more than even in the Genesis version. That analog support really does make a huge difference, and if your only options for playing this game were official releases on original hardware, then this was the best way to do it. Though, I guess on that note, I do need to mention that Sonic 3D Blast had one other official release as well. This isn't the Steam version, which is just a Genesis game. No, this is a full-on Windows 95 port. And it's literally just a Saturn version, except the special stages look like the inside of a PVC pipe. Okay, those were all the official releases. I want to talk about all the ROM hacks I can find of this game too though, and according to Sonic Retro, there's exactly 3 of them, though I guess that's technically 2. One of them is Sonic 3D No Flickies. It removes the flickies. And fun fact, the last regular zone of the game, even without this patch, Panic Puppet Act... Okay, spell it out, Jamie. Panic Puppet Act 2. Those are words. Yeah, that didn't have flickies in it to begin with. It was a really fast zone. And now the entire game is like that. This makes it way faster. I know a lot of folks actually really hated flicky collecting, and that aspect made this game feel tedious to them, so if you fell into that camp, maybe this will make the game better for you. I personally didn't mind them that much. There's also a hack by the same guy, who goes by SIK, or maybe it's pronounced SIK online, called Supersonic and Sonic 3D. It's also based on the No Flickies hack, and has all the same changes that was made to that, on top of, well, you guessed it, actually giving you a reason to go for the Chaos Emeralds besides a good ending. Supersonic is, as you'd expect, he's fast and invincible and sparkly and yellow. Okay, but now let's dive into a hack that is half the reason I wanted to do this video. Sonic 3D Director's Cut. So remember John Burton, director on the original game? Game Hut dude? So he actually made a hack of this game a few years back. And as he was director on the original game, I guess this makes this somewhat official? I'm not sure. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. So Director's Cut makes 3D Blast go from a game that some find decent and other think sucks, to one I think we can all at least agree is pretty dang cool. Like, not amazing, but solid. It adds an overworld map, there's a proper supersonic here too, and he has the homing attack built in. There's time attack options, John Burton's even changed it so that you can only get 1 Chaos Emerald per zone, and I actually think this is a good change. To compensate, there are now Tails and Knuckles available in the last 2 zones of the game. Platforming also just feels more precise. It just doesn't feel nearly as jank here. And that's funny because Sonic's faster too. There wasn't a ton of platforming to begin with in the originals, but I don't find myself actively dreading in this version of the game. Oh my goodness, you don't slide through platforms nearly as much. And oh my goodness, you only drop 1 flicky when you're hit instead of all of them. Oh yeah, that happened in the original. It sucked. Like the original, it's best played on a PC with D-pad controls mapped to an analog stick. And if you're willing to go through the work of getting this version of the game anyways, you might as well go through the process of mapping that. And if you do all that, you're in for a really good time. Sonic 3D Blast Director's Cut is awesome, and the main game itself is, well, okay, it's flawed. It's not one I think a lot of folks come back to, or really one that I could recommend to a lot of people, but really and truly, it's one that I am happy to return to in some form every now and again. It's not that long either. Guess you could say this is a fun one to blast through, am I right? Anyways, on that cringy note, that's it for today's video. What's your favorite game that others seem to hate? Let me know in the comments below. Fun fact, mine is Sonic R. Also, if you want to throw a couple of bucks my way as a tip, and maybe get some extra perks, then I have YouTube memberships, Patreon, and Ko-fi. Join these folks on screen in future videos for as low as $1 a month, and get access to early content, exclusive content, and even access to our Discord server. So on that note, thank you very much for watching, stay classy, and I'll see you next time. So earlier, movers finally arrived with all my stuff, including my game collection. And one of the first things I found, the very first box I opened, was this. Let's see if it's any good. Okay. I turned it on. Never mind. Oh god. This is a travesty.